Welcome back everyone to my channel. My name's Raison John. How much is the architect's fee? Ito ang madalas na tanong ng mga bagong architect, pati na rin yung mga client nila. Sa real life experience, ang fee ng isang arkitekto ay nakadepende sa experience at kakayahan niya, sa magiging gastusin niya, sa hirap o dali ng isang project, at kung saan magiging fair o patas to both the architect and yung client niya, considering yung budget ni client and yung mga gastusin naman ni architect para magawa ang isang project. Now, dito sa Pilipinas, may baseline or basihan kung magkano ba ang dapat singilin na fee ni architect para sa isang project. Makikita natin ito sa UAP-IAPOA Document 210 or yung Methods of Compensation and Schedule of Fees na napublish sa Official Gazette noong 2016. Part ito ng Standards of Professional Practice or SPP documents na ginawa ng PRC Board of Architecture noong 2010, kung saan nakaspecify ang mga scope of work na pwedeng gawin ng isang architect ayon sa profession niya. Now, itong 2016 UAP-IAPOA Document 210 at yung 2010 SPP document ang pag-uusapan natin sa video na ito. Kung paano gamitin ang mga provisions sa pagsingil ng bayad ng isang arkitekto tulad ng DAEDS contract or DAEDS contract, kasama na rin dito ang pag-compute ng down payment, progress billing at iba pa. So, para mapag-usapan natin ng maigi ang methods of compensation ng isang architect, gumawa ako ng situational questions na sasagutan natin isa-isa para malaman natin kung magkano ba ang dapat singilin na fee ni architect. So, simulan na natin. Question number 1. As an architect, if you were commissioned to design a museum with a project construction cost or PCC of 50,230,000 pesos, how much will be your recommended professional fee or RPF if your contract is on a detailed architectural design service or DAEDS? So question number 1, ang project natin according to the question is a museum. And yung cost daw ng paggawa ng museum or yung project construction cost, PCC, is 50,230,000 pesos. And our contract is a detailed architectural design service or DADS or DADS kung tawagin. And ang question sa problem is ano daw yung recommended professional fee or the RPF. So when we say DADS or DADS, it means that the method of compensation sa architect is in a percentage of construction cost. So porsyento ng gastusin sa construction, yun ang magiging fee ni architect. Now, saan makikita itong provision kung magkano ang babayaran on a DADS contract? Kailangan muna natin i-check kung ano yung classification ng ating project or yung building, which is a museum. Under Section 4.5 of the SPP Document 202, yun yung regular design service, and under Section 6.3.5 of the UAP Doc 210 or the methods of compensation, yung museum daw is classified as Group 5. Group 5 are buildings or structures that are monumental in character and complexity. And according to the methods of compensation, the fee on a DAEDS contract, ibig sabihin kasama yung engineering, is on a 12% nung project construction cost. And on a DADS naman or DADS contract, excluded yung engineering, ang fee is on a 7.5% of the project construction cost or PCC. Since given sa problem natin na ang contract is DADS or DADS, excluded yung engineering, our RPF can now simply be computed by multiplying 7.5% or 0.075 times the PCC of 50,230,000, and that would equal to 3,767,250 pesos. And that's the recommended professional fee ni architect. So our answer for question number 1 is D, 3,767,250 pesos. Now let's proceed to question number 2. The same client in the previous question was pleased with your output that he wanted to hire you again for the design of his next 5 museums to be built in different locations around the country. Each of these proposed museums would have typical layouts, would have the same construction cost, and would be built on similar site conditions as the original museum. As such, the same set of plans would be used all throughout. However, the client now wants you to include the engineering services for these next museum projects. How much are you expected to bill your client for these 5 museums? So makikita natin sa question number 2 that the situation pertains to the same client in the previous question dun sa question number 1. So the project is the same, museums, pero 5 na. Ito yung next 5 museum after that first museum sa question number 1. And ang sabi sa question, each of the proposed museums daw would have typical layout. So parehas lang ang gagamitin na plan. And parehas din ang budget or the construction cost. Same sa question number 1. And similar yung site condition. So kung nasa flat area, yung original, flat din yung next 5 museum. So that means same set of plans as the original museum dun sa question number 1 ang planong gamitin ni client for the next 5 museum projects. And since the same construction cost na nabanggit sa problem, yung PCC natin for question number 2 would be the same, 50,230,000 each sa bawat museum, the next 5 museums. And the contract, sabi ni client, gusto niya nang i-include yung engineering services. Dun sa question number 1, hindi kasali. Kaya DAEDS. This time, DAEDS or DAEDS contract na since yung E stands for Engineering and Other Allied Services included in a contract. And take note, diba? Since same set of plans ang gagamitin, that means yung contract mo is a continuing contract by reusing yung typical plans from the first museum to the second to the hanggang matapos yung 5 museums. And of course, yung hinahanap dun sa question is how much yung ibibill mo sa client for this next 5 museums. If yung contract is i-reuse mo yung mga plans as the original, makikita mo yung provision na ito under the Standards of Professional Practice sa section 4.6 of the SPP document 202, and yung methods of compensation naman is under section 6.3.6 of the UAP document 210. So under these provisions, yung classification nung isang project na i-reuse mo yung plans as the original is under group 6. So this group, ang ibig sabihin nito is repetitive yung construction kasi uulit-ulitin mo lang yung same set of plans on a different site. Now under this group, yung RPF or Recommended Professional Fee ni Architect would depend on kung pang ilang beses na naulit yung building na original na ginawa. So may makikita tayo doon sa table na may first building, second building, third building, and fourth and succeeding building na may iba't ibang percentage of the fee. So pag first building, ito yung original building mo, nakalagay doon sa table is 100% daw nung RPF o yung 100% ng fee. Buong-buo mo siyang makukuha kasi ito yung first building mo eh. So yung fee na to, depende sa kung anong klaseng building. So yung building type mo would depend on the classification ng project, kung simple ba to, complex, or monumental. Pag second building naman, 50% lang daw nung fee. Since inulit na siya, kalahati na lang ng fee yung recommended na sisingilin ni architects since same naman yung plano na gagamitin. And kung third building na siya, 40% na lang yung kailangan singilin ni architect na recommended doon sa fee niya for that building type. And last, pag fourth and succeeding buildings hanggang infinity, ang singil na lang na recommended na fee ni architect is 30% of the original fee depending on the building type. So, lagi nating nababanggit kung ano yung building type. So, i-review lang natin, yung project natin is a museum. So, the building type is classified as group 5 or monumental. So, same doon sa question number 1 na sinagutan na natin kanina. And yung RPF natin, in this case, sa question number 2, since ang contract natin is DAEDS kasama yung engineering what we will use is the 12% of the project construction cost or PCC. So that means since DAEDS ang contract natin, we can compute the RPF of that one museum by multiplying 12% or 0.12 times the PCC of 50,230,000 pesos would be equal to 6,027,600 pesos. So that's the RPF or the fee ni architect sa bawat museum kung original yan lahat. Okay? And this RPF, ito yung tinutukoy niya doon sa table ng Group 6, yung RPF of the building type. Ang building type natin is Group 5, yung RPF natin is 6,027,600 pesos. And since recurring yung building or repetitive yung construction, we will be using the typical plans, may certain percentage na lang ng fee, ang recommended na sisingilin ni architect, depending kung pang ilang building na siya. Now, considering question number 1 and question number 2, no, yung first museum natin would be the original museum sa question number 1. And yung fee natin doon is 3,767,250 pesos on a DAEDS or DAEDS contract kasi hindi pa kasama yung engineering. And 100% noon nasingil na ni architect as the first museum. And this time, yung question number 2, ang tinutukoy is the next 5 museums after the first museum. So that means, wag kayo magkakamali sa computation that the next 5 museum would be yung museum number 2, museum number 3, 4, 5, and the last one is the 6th museum. So when we reuse the typical plans ng original museum on a DAEDS contract, our fee for the second museum would be 50% na lang or 0.5. Ano yung RPF natin on a DAEDS contract? Diba? 6,027,600 pesos. And then for the third museum naman, 40% or 0.4 times the RPF of 6,027,600. And the fourth and succeeding, lahat sila 30% or 0.3 times 6,027,600 pesos na RPF on a DAEDS contract. So, calculating all of these percentages nung RPF ni architect, the second museum, ang singil niya dapat is 3,013,800 pesos lang kasi kalahati nung 6,027,600. Yung third museum is 40% na lang. And the fourth to the sixth museum would be 1,808,280 pesos na lang. So, the answer in question number 2 is ito total lang natin lahat nung RPF for every museum dun sa next 5 museums na ginamit uli yung typical plans of the original museum. So, the total fee would be 10,849,680 pesos. And that's the fee for the next 5 museum ni architect. Now, kung medyo marami ang computation, pwede rin nating isimplify since pare-parehas naman yung RPF ng next 5 museums at 6,027,600, i-multiply na lang natin ito doon sa sum nung lahat ng percentages per museum kung pang ilan sila. So, that would be the fee times 0.5 plus 0.4 plus 0.3 plus 0.3 plus 0.3 would be equal to 6,027,600 times yung sum ng mga percentages is 180% or 1.8 is equal to the same amount. So, 10,849,680. So, our answer for question number 2 would be letter B, 10,849,680 pesos. The fee or the expected bill ng architect sa client niya for the next 5 museum projects on a DAEDS contract reusing the typical plans of the first museum in question number 1. Okay, so burahin ko na yung question 1 and question number 2 and punta na tayo sa question number 3. Hired to renovate an existing residential condominium, you as the architect will provide detailed architectural and engineering services or DAEDS for this project. The project construction cost or PCC for the renovation was determined to be 50,100,000 pesos. Your client wants you to act as the project manager or PM, willing to pay you the minimum recommended fee for such designation to oversee the entirety of the renovation. What would be your recommended professional fee or RPF for this contract? So our project in question number 3 is a residential condominium. And take note that this residential condominium is an existing building na subject for renovation. Our project construction cost or PCC is given as 50,100,000 pesos, and our contract is on a detailed architectural and engineering services or DAEDS or DAEDS contract. And the contract includes the renovation since existing na yung building. And there's another additional contract that the client wants you to be the project manager. So meron kang project management contract. And the question is how much yung RPF or the recommended professional fee. So residential condominiums are classified under the section 4.2 of the SPP document 202 and the methods of compensation under section 6.3.2 UAP document 210 under group 2, and this grouping are buildings that are moderate in complexity. So under this table, makikita mo na yung recommended professional fee based on a DAEDS contract or DAEDS kasama yung engineering is based on a project construction cost. And doon sa table, for projects that are 50 million or less, ang RPF daw is 6% of the project construction cost. Pero pag over 50 million na, up to 100 billion pesos, ang fee daw ni architect on a DAEDS contract is 3 million pesos plus yung 5% nung excess of the 50 million pesos doon sa project construction cost. Since ang PCC natin is more than 50 million, ang gagamitin natin is yung second row, yung over 50 million to 100 million pesos. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng excess of 50 million? So, 50,100,000 pesos na PCC natin or the project construction cost, imimenos mo lang yung 50 million pesos and makukuha mo is 100,000 pesos. Yun yung sinasabing excess of 50 million. And imumultiply mo siya sa 5% para i-add mo naman yung product doon sa 3 million na RPF given on the table. So, meaning, yung fee ni architect on a DAEDS contract is equal to 3 million pesos plus 5% or 0.05 multiplied by the excess of 100,000 pesos is equal to, so 3 million plus, ano yung idadagdag mo sa 3 million? 0.05 times 100,000 pesos is 5,000 pesos. So, ang total fee ni architect would be 3,005,000 pesos. That's the fee ni architect under the regular design services under the SPP document 202. And it's in a DAEDS contract. So, kasama yung engineering according to the question. Now, ang contract mo hindi lang yung DAEDS. Meron pang isang contract, renovation. Since existing yung building natin, ang renovation projects can be found under section 4.9 of the SPP document 202 din and section 6.3.9 of the methods of compensation or UAP document 210. Naka-classify daw ang renovations as group 9. Group 9 are renovation ng existing buildings katulad nitong question number 3. And the recommended professional fee ni architect under group 9, ang sabi doon sa provision is kailangan daw i-increase ng 50%. Kung ano man yung fee mo doon sa project na yon, depending on the building type, kailangan pantaasan siya or dagdagan pa siya ng kalahati nun. So, yung RPF increase by 50%, ibig sabihin lang doon is to calculate it 150% times the fee. And ang fee natin, ibig sabihin is the fee of the regular design services na nakalculate na natin kanina, which is on a DAEDS contract yung 3,005,000 pesos. So, RPF under group 9 is 150% or 1.5 times 3,005,000 pesos would be equal to 4,500,000 and 7,500 pesos. So ito na yung fee ni architect for the regular design services plus the renovation. So kabuuan na ito nung dalawang contract, the DAEDS and the renovation. Now, sabi sa problem, may isa pang additional service na kailangan gawin si architect, yung project management. And that's under the Standards of Professional Practice Document 206 or the Comprehensive Architectural Services. So, iba to doon sa regular design services. Yung methods of compensation naman, yung singil sa project management services can be found in Section 11.3.1. And according to those provisions, yung RPF for a project manager is 2% up to 5% of the project construction cost or PCC. Ang sabi sa question, willing daw magbayad si client ng minimum recommended na fee para sa pagiging project manager nung architect niya. And kung pagbabasihan mo yung provision, yung 2% yun yung minimum. So para makompute mo yung RPF ni architect working as a project manager, we simply multiply the 2% minimum or 0.02 times the project construction cost or 50,100,000, and that would be equal to 1,002,000 pesos. So this value is the fee of the architect as a project manager, and separate itong fee na to doon sa fee niya for the regular design services na 4,507,500. So this means that yung recommended professional fee or RPF ni architect in totality would be yung fee niya for the regular design services with renovation under Group 2 and Group 9 plus yung fee niya for the project management services as a project manager would be equal to, so 4,507,500 plus 1,002,000 is equal to 5,509,500 pesos. So, ang sagot natin sa question number 3 is letter C, 5,509,500 pesos for the architect services dun sa renovation plus as project manager. So, tapos na tayo sa question number 3. Proceed tayo sa question number 4. You have two prospective projects. Both are public markets for different local government units. The first public market has a project construction cost calculated at 200 million pesos, while the second public market was calculated at 200 million and 10 pesos. If your contract as an architect for both public markets is Detailed Architectural Design Services or DAEDS, what is the difference in your recommended professional fees for the two projects? So question number 4 tayo. Ang tinatanong is the comparison nung RPF or the fee ni architect dun sa dalawang given na project which are both public markets. Yung project na una is a public market and yung project number 2 is a public market din, pero magkaibang LGU. Yung cost ng first project is 200 million pesos daw, and yung cost naman ng second project is 10 piso lang yung diferensya, 200 million and 10 pesos. Both of these projects may contract na DAEDS or hindi kasama yung engineering, and the fee difference, yun yung tinatanong doon sa question number 4. So, paano natin kakalculate? So, kunin muna natin yung project classification ng public markets. And according to Section 4.1 nung SPP Document 202 and Section 6.3.1 nung UAP Document 210, ang public markets are classified as Group 1. So, itong Group 1 are buildings that have the simplest utilization and character. According to the table, yung fee ni architect on a DAEDS or DAEDS contract, excluding engineering, based on a project construction cost, kapag over 100 million pesos, up to 200 million pesos yung cost, yung PCC, ang fee ni architect is 2,700,000 pesos plus yung 1.8% nung excess ng 100 million pesos. So, etong range ng PCC na to would fall under yung first public market. Yung second public market naman, mas mataas sa 200 million pesos. 10 piso lang ang tinaas niya. So, gagamitin natin is yung next row over 200 million pesos up to 500 million pesos, ang fee daw ni architect is 4,500,000 pesos na plus the 1.2% nung excess nung 200 million pesos. So, ito naman yung gagamitin sa second public market. So, computein muna natin yung first. Yung RPF ni first public market, since 200 million pesos yung PCC niya, would be 2,700,000 pesos plus 1.8% or 0.018 times yung excess ng 100 million pesos, which is 200 million pesos na PCC less yung 100 million pesos na limit would be 100 million pesos. So, yun yung imumultiply natin sa 1.8% or 0.018. So, ang answer doon sa 0.018 times the excess would be 1,800,000. So, i-add natin siya doon sa given na RPF na 2,700,000 and we'll have 4,500,000 pesos. Yan yung fee ni architect for the public market na nauna, na may 200 million pesos na PCC. Yung pangalawang public market naman na mas mataas ng 10 piso yung project construction cost, the fee of the architect can be computed as 4,500,000 pesos plus 1.2% or 0.012 times yung excess ng 200 million, which is 10 pesos lang. Since yung excess ng 200 million would be 200 million 10 pesos na project construction cost minus yung 200 million peso na limit would be 10 pesos. So, yung answer dun sa 1.2% of the excess is 12 centavos. So, add that to the RPF na 4,500,000 and we'll get an answer na 4,500,000 pesos and 12 centavos for the second public market. So, the difference would simply be yung public market number 2 na fee minus yung fee for the public market number 1 is 12 centavos lang ang difference. So, ang answer natin sa question number 4 would be A, 12 centavos. So, burahin na natin question number 4. Proceed tayo sa question number 5. You are an architect based in the province when your client, located in a city about 150 kilometers away from you, contacted you to meet with him at his location for further face-to-face consultations regarding your project. Your transportation cost to and from the meeting location was calculated at 4,500 pesos. Travel time going to the city was from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. The meeting took place from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. and travel time going back to the province was from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. How much should you bill your client at the minimum? So, question number 5, yung project natin is a consultation. So, wala pa doon sa regular design service. Gusto lang mag-meet ni client na nakatira sa city pero ikaw naman ang base mo doon sa province. So, yung fee for consultations sa isang architect can be found doon sa Section 4.10 of the Standards of Professional Practice, Document 202, Regular Design Service, and Section 6.3.10 of the Methods of Compensation, yung UAP Document 210. And this is classified under Group 10. Pag nagbibigay ng opinion, advice, clarification, explanation, or consultations si architect. So according to the provision, yung fee daw ni architect should not be less than 1,000 pesos per hour. And pag nag-act naman as an expert witness si architect, ang fee dapat niya would not be less than 5,000 pesos per appearance. Yung expert witness meaning pag pinatawag ka sa court or sa Senate hearing, pinasabpina ka sa Congress, per appearance. Excluded daw doon yung cost for transportation and accommodation ni architect. And sa provision, meron daw sinasabi na another 60% of the amount shall be charged for the travel period in case of locations in excess of 100 kilometers of the architect's office. So pag malayo yung location, kailangan pa daw sumingil ng 60% ng amount na sinisingil mo during the travel period para makompensate si architect doon sa layo naman nung pupuntahan niya for the consultation. So, for consultations, Since yan yung situation doon sa question number 5, ang susundan nating recommended professional fee would be not less than 1,000 pesos per hour. So, ang tanong is, magkano daw dapat ang i-bill ni architect sa client niya at the minimum? So, computein muna natin yung number of hours na nangyari doon sa situation. Sabi doon sa problem is 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So, that's 4 hours. Yun yung tagal ng meeting nila. So, that means the RPF for the consultation would be 1,000 pesos per hour times yung 4 hours or equal to 4,000 pesos. Yan yung singil dapat ni architect for that 4-hour meeting. Pero sabi sa provision, di ba, hindi pa kasama yung transport cost at yung accommodations. So, dun tayo sa cost of transportation. Ang sabi dun sa problem, nakaspecify na 4,500 pesos yung ginastos ni architect doon sa pagpunta at pagbalik. And hindi naman siya nagstay in, so walang accommodation cost. And dun sa provision, meron pang another 60% of the amount daw na i-charge for the travel period pag yung location mo is in excess of 100 kilometers doon sa office ni architect. Since ang given distance ng location ng meeting is 150 kilometers away from the architect's office, dapat meron pa tayong karagdagang sisingilin na 60% daw ng amount for the travel period. So, gaano ba katagal yung naging travel period ni architect na pagbiyahe niya ng 150 kilometers galing sa province papunta daw sa city? From 11:30 a.m. bimahe siya hanggang 1 p.m. So, that's 1 hour and 30 minutes or 1.5 hours. And yung biyahe naman ni architect pabalik from the city, pabalik sa province sa office niya is from 5 p.m. up to 7:30 p.m. or 2 hours and 30 minutes or 2.5 hours. So, yung total travel time niya would be 1.5 hours plus 2.5 hours or 4 hours din. So, ang total amount dapat dito is 1,000 pesos per hour times 4 hours. So, dapat 4,000 pesos din. Pero ang sabi sa provision, di ba, 60% ng amount ang sisingilin mo na i-add mo doon sa RPF before the consultation. So, the RPF for the travel period dahil malayo, more than 100 kilometers away, is 60% or 0.6 times 4,000 pesos is equal to 2,400 pesos. Therefore, yung total bill na sisingilin ni architect sa client niya would be yung fee niya for the consultation na 4 hours plus yung cost of transportation niya na 4,500 pesos plus yung fee niya during the travel period kasi more than 100 kilometers away yung biyahe niya papunta at pabalik na 2,400 pesos. So, ang total bill would be 4,000 plus 4,500 plus 2,400 is equal to 10,900 pesos. So, our answer for question number 5 is letter D. 10,900 pesos yung ibibill ni architect sa client niya at the minimum. So, burahin na natin yung question number 5. Proceed tayo sa question number 6. So, your relatives wish to hire your services as an architect to design and build their duplex residence on a budget of 7,500,000 pesos, inclusive of all design fees. They have no time to oversee the construction of the project and trust you to administer all construction-related matters such as the hiring of labor and equipment, purchasing of materials, etc. via a revolving fund. Based on your experience and calculations, their budget will be feasible to the requirements of the project. If your relatives want you to guarantee that their budget will not be exceeded, how much should you be compensated for services you will perform? Okay, so question number 6. So our given project is a duplex residence ng mga kamag-anak ni architect. And their budget was declared as 7,500,000 pesos. Nakasama na daw doon yung bayad nila sa mga design fees. So take note ha, yung budget nila na 7,500,000 is yung budget nila sa pagpagawa ng duplex residence nila, which is yung project construction cost or PCC, plus yung RPF, yung recommended professional fee para sa design. And ang gusto nila is a design-build service. So, ang contract na ni architect is on a design-build service, which means na si architect din ang magde-design and siya ang mag-a-administer ng construction-related matters via a revolving fund. And ang sabi dun sa question, yung kamag-anak ni architect, gusto daw nilang i-guarantee niya na yung budget nila hindi nalalagpas. Since 7,500,000 lang yung allotted nila na pera para sa pagpagawa ng bahay nila, kasama na yung fees. So, since design-build ng project and the relatives want you to guarantee na hindi mag-e-exceed yung budget nila, ang tawag dun sa design-build service na yun is on a guaranteed maximum cost. So, under the Standards of Professional Practice, Document 207 at saka yung sa Methods of Compensation na under Section 12.4 of the UAP Document 210, yung design-build services daw, dalawang klase yon. No? Meron tayong design-build service by administration and a design-build service on a guaranteed maximum cost. So, magkaiba yung recommended professional fee sa dalawa. Pag by administration, ang fee ni architect would be 7% nung project construction cost, and pag yung design-build naman on a guaranteed maximum cost, ang fee ni architect is 10% of the project construction cost. Now, since yung contract ni architect, gusto ng client niya na guaranteed na yung budget nila na maximum, so ang susundan nating provision dun sa fee ni architect, dun sa design-build services under SPP Document 207 would be on a guaranteed maximum cost service. So yung schedule of fee ni architect would be 10% of the PCC or project construction cost. Take note na yung fee ni architect for the design-build service is exclusive or hindi pa kasama yung fees niya for the regular design service, yung pag-actual niya na design and plan ng duplex residence. So, calculating muna yung regular design service niya under SPP Document 202 sa Section 4.4 and yung methods of compensation under Section 6.3.4 of the UAP Document 210, yung duplex residences are classified under Group 4 or yung mga residences, small apartments, and townhouses. Now, under Group 4, yung professional fee ni architect is depende kung anong klaseng contract. Pag DAEDS or DAEDS contract, included yung engineering services, ang fee ni architect is 10% of the project construction cost. Pero kapag excluded yung engineering services, so DADS lang or DADS contract, ang fee ni architect is only 6% of the project construction cost. Now, dun sa question number 6, di ba gusto ng mga relatives niya inclusive na lahat ng design fees. So wala nang i-hire si client na iba pang mga separate consultants or allied services or engineers. So ang gagamitin nating schedule of fee for this particular project is yung DAEDS contract or DAEDS, included yung engineering. That means ang fee ni architect is 10% nung project construction cost for the regular design service. So, excluded or separate pa siya doon sa sisingilin ni architect for the design-build service on a guaranteed maximum cost. Now, sa dalawang contract na ito, hindi pa natin alam kung ano yung project construction cost kasi ang declared lang doon sa problem is yung budget. So, let's first determine yung project construction cost or yung PCC based on the budget. So, since na-mention sa question na based on the experience ni architect at sa calculations niya, is feasible yung budget niya for the requirements of the project, that means the budget of 7,500,000 which includes the PCC plus RPF, makukuha natin, no? So, remember that the fee of the architect is yung fee niya for the regular design service. Ito yon yung DAEDS contract na 10% ng project construction cost at saka yung design-build contract niya on a guaranteed maximum cost na 10% din ng project construction cost. So, yun yung composition ng RPF. So, our budget is equal to the PCC or project construction cost plus the RPF nung regular design service on a DAEDS contract plus the RPF ni architect on a guaranteed maximum cost doon sa design-build contract niya. So, the budget is equal to the project construction cost or PCC plus yung fee ni architect for the regular design service on the DAEDS contract plus yung RPF or fee ni architect naman doon sa design build on a guaranteed maximum cost na contract niya. So calculating this equation, since common factor natin sa equation is yung PCC, the budget would now be equal to the PCC times yung 100% plus 10% plus 10% or 1 plus 0.1 plus 0.1 is equal to PCC times 1.2. So the project construction costs can now be calculated by simply dividing yung budget over the 1.2 or 120% is equal to 7,500,000 divided by 1.2 would result in a 6,250,000 peso value. So that's our PCC. That means the RPF natin can now be calculated by adding yung fee niya for the DAEDS contract and yung fee niya for the design build. So 0.1 times the PCC of 6,250,000 pesos plus another 10% or 0.1 times 6,250,000 pesos would be equal to 1,250,000 pesos. So that's the fee ni architect para dun sa project. So another calculation is, since alam na natin yung budget and the PCC, pwede mo ring i-minus na lang yung project construction cost doon sa budget. So 7,500,000 budget less yung PCC na 6,250,000 pesos. Ang matitira is yung budget ng mga kamag-anak ni architect para doon sa mga design fees, which is 1,250,000 pesos. So ang answer sa question number 6, how much would the architect be compensated for the services na iperperform niya, would be letter C, 1,250,000 pesos. So all questions have now been answered based on the 2016 UAP-IAPOA document 210 at yung 2010 SPP document or Standards of Professional Practice documents. Now remember, yung mga provisions sa loob ng dalawang documents na to ay recommendatory lang regarding dun sa pagsingil ni architect ng professional fee niya. Now pwedeng mas mababa o pwedeng mas mataas ang fee, depende na sa experience niya, sa magiging mga gastusin niya or sa hirap o dali ng isang project para sa kanya. At gaya ng sinabi ko kanina sa simula ng video, ang most important is ang fee na kung saan fair sa dalawang parties, meaning kung fair kay architect at fair din kay client. So both parties would be happy. Now kung meron kayong mga katanungan dito sa mga solutions sa situational problems and you have any clarifications or any other suggestions kung ano pang videos or topics na gusto nyo pang i-discuss ko, just leave a comment and I'll try my best na sagutan yung mga katanungan ninyo. And if you're new to the channel and want to learn more about the things that I do and the things that I share, click the subscribe button and the notification bell down below para makareceive agad kayo ng updates if I post newer videos. Again, this is Raison John. Thank you so much for watching and let's all continue learning.